Okay, we are live. So, welcome to another episode of the Holistic Sister Circle. Today we have Tania with us, and Tania is, oh my gosh, she is a grounded spiritual mentor, energy work facilitator, and nomadic, multi passionate woman. She's developed and used her own energy work method, which also includes channeling and light language transmissions. Her mission is to be the change that she wants to manifest in the world. And through her work, she guides people back to their essence in order to facilitate the remembrance of their innate wisdom and healing abilities, inner power, and interconnectedness with nature and the spiritual realm. Tania, we're so excited to have you here. This is going to be an amazing conversation. And y'all, Tania's in Thailand right now, so you can hear the birds chirping in her background, which I'm like, ugh, I wish I had that. I have thunderstorms, but welcome.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm really, really excited to be here and to share my message with you and your audience. And yes, I'm currently in northern Thailand. I'm a nomadic, full time traveler since almost 17 years. For me, traveling has been really essential to my spiritual journey and my evolution. I feel called to certain places to reconnect with my soul's wisdom, with past lives. I mean, I was dreaming to get to India since I was 6. And I saw an image of some Hindu ceremony in an encyclopedia. And I put my finger on it and I was like, that's where I'm going to go. And because I grew up in a very spiritual, open minded family, they cultivated these gifts and they told me children are more connected with their past lives, with their soul's knowledge, and they really pushed me, but in a kind way, supported me to achieve my dreams and go to the places that I want to go. And I ended up becoming a full-time traveler and listening to the calling of my intuition and of my heart to visit these places and immerse myself into these places. I also have spontaneous land regression. It's like connecting with the memory of the land and the energetic grid of the earth and nature. And for me, traveling, it's so magical and so nourishing.
This is so exciting. And one of the things that really drew me to you too was just the fact that this has been generation to generation to generation. Like, you are not the first person in your family to focus on wellness practices from a mental, emotional, and physical state. And I would love for you to just share what what was life like growing up? Like, what were you doing as a child, and what were some of the practices that your parents and your grandparents really made sure that they instilled in you and you still carried through as an adult today?
Yes, so for them was really important to connect us with nature, but not make it as a chore, more as a natural extension of ourselves, and to make it clear that we are nature, we are not somewhere at the top of the pyramid, but we are in a circle as part of nature, and we need to know nature, respect nature, connect with nature. So we were going a lot to forage and gather medicinal plants and learn about them, and they were really um, adamant of us knowing our places, our countries. I grew up between Italy and Romania, but in both cases they were telling me, oh, you dream to travel, you have to know your place first, to know your roots, to feel your roots. So we were spending a lot of time exploring these countries and spending time in nature, and we were doing the sun salutation, for example, in summers at the beach. But they didn't tell me, oh, this is a spiritual practice, you have to do it. But they were doing it, and by example showing us children how to just incorporate this in our lives. They were very much into holistic approach to healing and natural remedies, and doing everything you can through diet and through a healthy lifestyle, which at times was really frustrating because, yeah, children were drinking all sorts of fizzy drinks and I don't know what sweets. And us, not that we were not allowed, because they were not doing it like something they removed from us, but they spent a lot of time explaining to us why it's important what we put in our body, why it's important to not treat only the symptoms, but go to the root cause of disease, and why our emotions affect our physical, the energetic affects our emotions, and it's all interconnected. We were spending time, for example, grounding and hugging trees. And I was always like, why all my classmates are, I don't know, at the skate park, and I'm here with my granny hugging trees. Growing up, I realized that they were actually planting some really good seeds. I went through a rebellious patch, I guess, like all teenagers, when I was like, what are all these crazy things that my family taught me? And I went more into the, let's say, mainstream and experiment all the stuff that they were saying. Not that you shouldn't do, but they are not healthy for you and they are not nourishing for you. But it was a short patch, and actually it triggered deep spiritual awareness in me. And I think it's natural now that I'm also a mother. I realize that there will be a time where children do detach from our teaching, so they can confirm or find their own. So it was, I guess, a natural evolution for me, and that triggered a really big. I don't like to call them spiritual awakenings, because I think they come in layers and we are all going through them. They are more like revelations, or when you get closer and closer to your essence and your heart. And I was like, oh, okay, I had to detach myself from the teachings of my for parents in order to discover my own truth. And then I discovered they actually had great teachings. And what they gave me, it's the, no doubt, I have no doubt about the spiritual realm, about how holistic health and well-being works. I mean, I have experienced a lot of modalities, from energy work to breathing, yoga. I've been learning with a lot of mentors in my travels. And the one thing that I realized that came with these generational teachings is that I don't doubt myself and my capacity to hold space for spirit and my devotional practices. And I think this is important, because we are disconnected as a humanity from our spiritual values, from our intimate connection with the divine, from our place in nature. And if we teach our children from an early age, then we will offer them a terrain to navigate this with no doubt. Of course, challenges will come, life is up and down, but this courage that things happen for me and not to me, it's what they instilled. And I saw life from very early on as an initiatic journey. So these are my lessons, this is my soul, I came here to refine, and I'm gonna learn and get better and better with myself, for myself, not for the outside world, not for external validation, which kicked in teenage years. And it was important at that time, but then I realized it's my journey. I have myself with myself, and it's, I am the most important. I'm the main character in my story, and I appreciate them so much for this. It's so precious, in my opinion, to have this in my toolkit. And also they introduced the energy work as being something normal, like how you keep a body hygiene and a good diet. That's how you should keep also energy field hygiene, and be aware that things can get attached to you, and be aware that if you're, for example, my sister, it's highly sensitive, and they were always teaching us that we are taking emotions that are not our own and we confuse with our own things, and the pressure that comes from society and so on. So yeah, they basically guided us to be our own sovereign beings, which I really appreciate.
This is so incredible. Like when you were telling me this during our vibe check, I was just like I literally had chills because I hadn't met anyone that like parents and grandparents and like just see like this is what your family has created has what I wanted to do with the holistic sister circle. Like that was the whole purpose of it was okay, if we can at least get one listener in the household, with that one listener, not only is their family changed forever, but so are their children and their children's children. And it's just like you're literally living proof of what that looks like. And I'm so grateful for this. Now, for everything that you've shared with us so far, and I do want to unpack that in a second. But before I do, I would love to learn a little bit more about how this has impacted your family. What are some things that
So
you've learned just within these experiences and things that you've mastered? And like, what are you teaching your family today?
yeah, so I think one of the most important decisions that come from who I am and how I am was to have a really transparent and solid partnership with my partner when we decided to. It was unplanned, but we both were in times that we wanted children, so we realized that's a responsibility, and we want to be here for our daughters. We have two daughters, and to start this in a transparent and solidified relationship, and both to contribute with our time, most of it. That for me was essential, not to send my children far away from me, not to have to let them with other people. We also decided together to world school, unschool, so basically homeschooling, but in a different way, also for this reason, to spend time with them. And even now I'm wondering, I feel like I'm losing little things from their growth, and people are like, but you are with them 24/7 basically. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to imagine how it would have been not to have them with me all this time. And teach them essential skills from the start, and not put pressure on the academic part, which I did have some pressure. My partner did have some pressure because of society, more or less. My parents were really supportive through school, but I loved learning. But the system itself for me was very hardcore. I always say, because I don't really have big traumas to heal from my family side, they really try to pass less trauma from each generation, starting with my great grandmother that I had the honor to meet and be with her for quite a while in my life. And but I had so much to heal from the schooling system, and from an outgoing bubbly child that was always curious, asking questions, I became really anxious, really closed in myself, really doubting, also because some of the knowledge and wisdom that I had from my family was regarded as weird by classmates, by certain teachers, and I was the odd one out. So it put a lot of pressure on me, the schooling system, how it is. And at least in my home country, it hasn't changed in more than 30 years. So for me, not putting them in an outdating system like this was really, and still is, very important. So spending time with them, doing wild schooling, which is learning in nature, through nature, like they know plants, they know how to identify, they know how to gather them. They learn about countries from being in the country. We are literally doing cultural immersion with them. They hear the language. We spend time with local people, which for me also, again, it gives you a broader perspective, and it doesn't narrow you into. People say, oh, homeschool children don't really socialize, but the thing is that they socialize with people of so many ages, of so many kinds, of so many cultures. So I think it's really precious to have this from an early age. Then it's, of course, diet, but it's not like I'm putting my children to a diet, but we always exemplify to them why they are allowed to choose things to eat and like this, but we take every opportunity to explain to them why this vessel is sacred, why you shouldn't go around eating processed food all the time, why it's not good for your growth, why alive food is important. So really all these things, incorporating them slowly and step by step in everyday's life. Same with technology. It's not like we impose them a limit or we tell them it's not allowed, but we explain to them every time how things work, how you can get um, pulled into others' opinion if you're not strong in your values. And I'm really happy because it seems that they both really enjoy the lifestyle, and I can see how healthy they are, how open they are, comparing to me at the same age, related to school especially, because I got so shy, I got so closed in myself, and this anxiety towards authority that I didn't want them to experience, because I want them to feel free to achieve what they want to achieve, to know they are supported. And I had this to a certain degree, but school made me doubt a lot. So I had to recompose myself to see why I got so much pressure from society and school. And I wanted them to not have to go through this. And because in my family, it was often discussed that we are passing less and less trauma from generation to generation. Not that you won't pass at all, because it's impossible. Once you become a parent, there will be things that won't fit, and the children probably will come back and say, oh, why did you take this decision? But at least to do it with the intention and the awareness that you want to pass less and less trauma, and see what you had to do within yourself, and make sure that as much as possible we pass less of this heaviness, so to speak. And I know through my work and my energy work that I apply on myself and my people, that once we start healing for ourselves, we heal for the generations past as well as those that come after us. And that's not only children. I mean, in my opinion, it's everybody we come in contact with, from this powerful, aware, healed version of ourselves, be it people that listen to us here, people that we collaborate with, siblings, communities, and so on, because there's a different vibration. The more we step into our power, the more we step into courage, into self trust, the more impactful the energy is. So I want them to be strong and to feel self-confident in their energy, while they also have a toolkit and knowledge of how to, including survival skills and how to cook, and a lot of things that I've seen disappearing very easily. I mean, I'm from a post-communist country. As I said, I'm originally from Romania, and in the past 34 years, I've seen a lot of knowledge and wisdom and nature-related traditions disappear with the whole chaos that came with a lot of consumerism. It's not like I'm totally anti-system, but I know consumerism and this apparent comfort that we have by being able to buy things uh, disconnected us from making our own food, growing our own food, knowing how to heal ourselves with the power of nature, and so on. And I want them to have this knowledge, because I think it's becoming more and more obvious that we need to be connected with this knowledge and this wisdom. And it's actually not so far away, when our ancestors were still in communion with the earth and this ancestral knowledge.
Oh my goodness. This is so true. And y'all, it's crazy because I had some articles prepared and I'm just like, I don't even want to talk about that. I want to talk more about I want to talk more about this. And one of the things that you mentioned that I think is so powerful is you wanted to make sure that your children didn't have to go through the same type of anxiety or being closed in or self doubt. that comes from society. And it's crazy because even earlier today, I was on a call with another sister in the group, and I was sharing with her a couple of months ago. We had did some like content work together, and fast forward, I'm like, okay, I'm going to a new level of growth. And within this new level of growth, we always have new doubts or experiences that we're looking to uncover. And as I was sharing this with her, I said, I don't know if this is a limiting belief, but I just feel so unsafe when I am speaking my convictions online without other people. So, me being able to just step into that power as an individual and say, hey, this is what I believe, regardless if you agree or not. I felt so unsafe in that conviction, and having that conversation with her, it's really allowed me to see that to be honest with you, a lot of the things, the feelings that I'm feeling are not really my feelings at all, but things that have been put on me from society and what society believes to be true. And I'm grateful that your children can see, like, okay, mom went through this. Mom was able to heal from this. Mom was able to experience this, but here are now the tools and resources that you can gather from this and make it your own. For those who are listening who are moms and spouses and are really, especially I feel like and no knock on our sons, but I feel like our daughters are very emotional. They can be very emotional. They can be very just not knowing how to handle their emotions. And what would you say to a mom who may be looking to go the same route that you went with your children, as far as being able to homeschool them and being able to spend more time with them, but believe that they may not have the resources or feel like they may not necessarily have the support outside of their partner to do so?
So, in my opinion, the resources come and appear. This with everything. Like I really like that saying that you have to walk the path, and the path will appear. We will never be able to control the whole process, and this in the spiritual journey, it's something very obvious and actually essential to surrender ourselves to trust and to the unknown, and not try to control every move of the how, which is very contradictory with how society teaches us, especially in the academic environment, that we have to have everything planned and panned out and like this. But when we take decisions from our heart, from our intuition, and they are big decisions and they somehow go against the grain, in my opinion, trust, it's really important, because as a mother, as a parent, you really feel that. And I know a lot of people want to homeschool and to travel and to spend more time with their children, this because it's our instinct calling us to this. And there are fears coming up. I mean, it's not like it was a very easy decision to take for us to start with, because yeah, there is pressure from extended family, there is pressure from society, there is pressure from the system at times, depending in what country you are. But also my grandpa, who was my first and foremost mentor, and he was a writer, a philosopher, and he was a great man. He told me that our lives are the sum of our choices, and the more aware are those choices, and the more we can stand by them, the more we can create the lives of our dreams. And it's not always easy to take those decisions, because sometimes, as I said, they go against the grain. You are leading a new movement, you are leading a change, especially in these times of transitions, which I really believe we are going through. And it can feel alone, it can feel discouraging, but as long as you have faith, as long as you are you know yourself, you are aware of yourself, and you take the decision from the bottom of your heart, things will appear. So many opportunities, so many people. I met so many amazing other families, world schooling families, through travel, through online communities. We are not alone. And a lot of people are really willing to, extend a helping hand, to give you information. I mean, also the first travel I did with our eldest, who's now 9, and we traveled when she was 3 months old, but only for a short holiday in Greece. And then we took her for like 7 months in Asia. And of course, I wanted to know what remedies kit should I have? What should I expect from a travel in Asia with a 7 months old baby? And I found so many beautiful traveling mamas that were willing to help me and tell me their experience. And suddenly it didn't feel so alone anymore. It felt like I'm part of this extended community of parents that are traveling with their little ones, and it's totally possible. And we had so much fun. So I'm so happy we decided to do this. If it was to listen to extended family and societal pressure and so on, everybody was like, no, they are too little, la, 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 all the no, no, no fear inducing things. But those are their fears. So it's important not to take them and make them ours, but to sit in our confidence and know that we are divinely protected, divine God source, how everybody resonates with this like one consciousness energy. There is a lot of protection coming through that. There's a lot of support. That's why I'm so passionate about spirituality and grounded spirituality, because I think we have to honor both the human part of ourselves and the divine part. And somehow, at one point in our history, a disconnection has been made there. And I really believe that, yeah, we know our bodies, we know what we know in the physical, we know our minds, which is very important. They are very good tools, but we don't let them take us over. But we also trust the spirit, the divine, and that's trusting the unknown, that's surrendering. And I wouldn't have been able to plan 100% what's going on with us, since we are a family. But certain things just came through this faith, and doors opened and the opportunities opened. The same with learning, which is very practical. I mean, I can teach to a certain degree, my partner can teach to a certain degrees, but there are groups of people that offer lessons. There are tutors. There are so many opportunities, and we want to facilitate for them to choose what suits them. I mean, the eldest one has also been in a school, in a public school system in back in my home country. And after a week, she said she can't handle it. It's too repetitive, too boring. They don't spend time outside. So it's not like we don't let them try whatever they want related to learning. But I want them to enter these spaces with awareness and see how they really feel. Not tell them, yeah, you have to power through because that's what society says it's right. And I think it applies to everything from education to your own health. There are so many people that they are either misdiagnosed or given things that they feel deep inside they are not helping them, but because they've been told so, or the experts told them so, they keep going with that thing, though their whole instinct, their whole body, their whole being, it's screaming no, something it's not right. And my mission is to make people so in tune with themselves and so self-confident in their holistic being that they know when things and messages come through the body, through the intuition, through spirit, and they take the decisions that are the best for themselves and the ones they are caring for.
Yes. And Tania, this has been such an incredible journey just to really connect with you, to hear your story, to hear how you and your family are making such a monumental impact. Now, before we close, I would love for you to just share a little bit with us, just about the relationship with your partner and how that has really shaped and cultivated the life that you all are experiencing together now. And the reason I'm asking this question is because I do notice within our society as well is sometimes when we do pick partners, we don't always ensure that we're on the same page. And if we're not on the same page, we don't find it in ourselves to make sure that we can do what we need to do as an individual to get better, so we can start attracting the things that we want to see in our partner. And I get a lot of questions all the time about, oh my gosh, I have so many friends who were single, and so many friends who are may have, are in relationships, but they're just feel like they're not, like the spark is gone and things of that nature. And I just would love to know, from your experience, just with you and your partner, how has this experience and this self evaluation really helped mold and shape the relationship that you all have today?
So it's for us it was somehow very synchronistical how we met from the start. I mean, it was kind of a manifestation process. I was in a very good place with myself, very very good. I was not chasing anything in my life, not pushing for the universe to bring stuff in my life after a period of quite a big soul heart agitation. And we actually met in India, which it's for both of us such a special soul place. But I was like, yeah, if there's something to come in my life, I want to be from a place of power and empowerment, and pure connection, and not of codependency and neediness, which is something that I've been working through myself for quite a few years, because I was replaying patterns and unhealthy masculine attachments, and my own feminine relationship was not at the optimal level, so to speak. So when I got into that moment, I didn't feel any need. I didn't feel any fear or pressure to bring somebody into my life. And we just met, and we shared the passion for freedom and travel in a very profound way, which from the start it was for me not like a reassurance, but I knew that we have common ground to create things together, because it takes energy and willingness to work together to keep traveling, to have children and keep traveling. And yes, when I got pregnant, we had a very connected discussion about this, and we both decided we want to be committed to this, and to be committed to our growth together, because yeah, those butterflies in the tummy from the start, and those have to be sparked. We have to work through this. When we become mothers, there's a big transformation, and I see and I work with people that in the first 2 years they feel a disconnection from the partner, they feel a disconnection from their own selves, but it requires patience, and it requires holding space for the other, also with kindness and compassion, and understand that we are both going through our evolution, sometimes maybe in different rhythms, but if we are there for each other to like help us step further and further, it's so much more solid, the connection, and expensive, instead of trying to put the fault on. And it's something that comes normal in a relationship, to try to project or mirror onto the other, especially when we spend so much time in travel together with our children together. But if we give each other space to evolve, to be into this relationship as evolving beings, to know that we all make mistakes, we will not like somebody 100% all the time, but if we can accept also the differences in this union, I think it's really important. And also, I do believe a lot in the masculine feminine dance, and how we can support each other from this role. And if we try to overstep into each other's role, then it can become unbalanced. So I don't speak here about traditional roles in a historical sense, but in an energetic sense, to know how your love language works as a woman and as a man, to know how you can hold space, even if it's not your favorite way of holding space, or your favorite love language, but to make space for the other as well. And this, in my opinion, comes from a place of compassion and forgiveness and unconditional love. And I think it's really important when we come together with somebody in union. And I know, because for me it felt too good to be true. And I couldn't believe at the beginning when we met. And I realized because we were not connecting on wounding, which was happening to me before that a lot. There was chemistry and there was wounding, which the wounding became like a safe space because that's what I knew. And then when you have somebody in their power that knows how to hold space and how to be self-assured and not be codependent, it feels like, oh my god, what's going on? It's it's not something that I know how to deal with. And it's actually safety, and that unconditional love, it can feel scary at the beginning when we've been used with like toxic patterns or codependent relationships. So I knew there's something different in there, but we decided to cultivate together this aspect, and we still do. And communication is really important, and when big things happen around us, to know that we are keeping the same vision and rediscuss our priorities. And yes, I feel honored and also a little bit lucky with a bit of the luck feature, because I saw so many people when big things happened around to realize they have completely different points of view. They want to do something else with the children, and I find it a bit hard to navigate. So I consider myself really lucky, and it's an honor to have found somebody that we can create the same flow together, of course with our differences, but we embrace them. And yeah, we have this devotion towards each other, and being parents together and travel companions. So yeah, I think it's really important, communication and unconditional love and respect each other's differences. And this with sisterhoods, because I love sisterhoods, with everything. Not everybody will be on the same page 100% of the time, but we can cherish our differences, learn from them, love each other through our differences, not only through our similarities. And I think that that's beautiful. And same goes for our children, because a lot of people want to make children like mini me copies of what they didn't accomplish, or and I don't think it's fair. We are unique, so we can hold space for our children to develop in their unique ways. And of course it's cute when they look a bit like you or they have a similar passion, but to properly push them in the direction you want, or the same with a partner, to keep thinking that you might change him or her, or they will change at one point. I think it glitches, we have to hold space for people to be who they are.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This has been incredible. And I'm like, again, I can't say this enough, but I'm so grateful for this conversation. I'm grateful for you sharing your experiences with us, your family with us, and everything that you're doing. It's not going unnoticed, and you are changing lives as we speak. And as we wrap up our session today, can you just share with us, if anyone is looking to connect with you further, what does that process look like?
Yes, sure. So people can connect with me via Facebook and Instagram at the moment. Also, my website, it's work in progress, so I hope it will be ready soon, and we can add it to the information. I'm really excited about this. And yes, I have a membership for women, a spiritual membership where women come together in a sisterhood in circle, and we do energy work, nature connection. Some call it witchcraft, but I prefer to call it nature craft, herbalism, and guest experts in different subjects. And also I'm going to launch a bigger 1 year container, which is dedicated to women and going through our body, emotions, mind, and energetics, to really know ourselves and go through sacred wounds and heal and step into our power. And recently, I launched, for many years, I've been a social media manager and content creator. And but I've always been spiritual, so I was applying all these things in my other venture. And recently, I launched this course where I use energetics and strategy for social media visibility for people that want to grow their reach, that want to put their business out there, people that are at the beginning. And I love working a lot with artists, artisans, spiritual entrepreneurs, people that are creative, and they want to find their way through this. So these are my programs at the moment. I have no one-to-one slots available right now because I restructured a bit, but I'm always open to discuss with people. And yes, I developed my own energy work method, though I'm a Reiki master. I did all sorts of modalities. I was initiated in Wicca, but I don't identify as Wiccan necessarily. I like to take elements from my Romanian culture as well. And I developed this method through practicing it on myself, and now I'm using it in my circles, in my one-to-one practice, in my spaces, and it's absolutely amazing. Not because I developed it, but I see the results and I see how we are supporting each other, and it's a growth and remembrance uh, process. So yes, I also offer free circles in my Facebook group, so if people want to get a taster and see how it works. But I do think it's important to bring this awareness on energy and energy work, and start developing our intimate personal relationship with spirit. And energy work, in my opinion, it's a great method to do this, and it can help us with so much. That's why I mentioned the social media course as well, because it's so, the ladies that are in this first edition, they went through so many blockages and resistances of coming live, of chatting. I mean, 2 years ago I was not even accepting invitations like this, like we are having today, because of my own blockages with my voice, with my presence. And I worked energetically on this, and now I feel I can support other people with my energy work to get through these processes. I like the strategy part, but I think most of it, it's energy and how people perceive our energy. And yes, I also want to empower other women to work from home and remote, which I think it's, for me, was such an important piece of this whole thing, because otherwise I couldn't be here with my daughters, have time. And yeah. But as I said, I'm multi-passionate, and I have all sorts of things all the time coming up. So yeah, if people want to connect, and I'm always happy to befriend people online, they will see that I have quite a few offers coming up all the time.
Amazing. Well, Tania, thank you so much for your time. That has been a pleasure. And yeah, we're super excited to continue to connect with you further.
Yeah, same. Thank you so much, and looking forward to listen to more episodes.